Right now, you're probably hiding without realizing it. I know that because I have been hiding for so many years in my creative business. I was so afraid of being seen that I would find the edge of what is the most minimal amount of responsibility I could take on while still thinking that I can embody big impact and responsibility in the world. And I desired success, I desired recognition, but I simultaneously feared that. I feared being seen because I couldn't control how people would relate to me. I couldn't control what I would be able to do with the responsibility, would I be able to handle. So I know what it's like to have the fear of being seen and how that might keep you stuck playing small and self-sabotaging in your creative expression. So in this video, I just want to call out the hidden patterns that are keeping you stuck in playing small and give you an invitation to stepping into more of a fearless visibility in the world so that you can start expanding. So if you're new here, my name's Kev. I'm an award-winning furniture designer, and I help ambitious creatives design and build aligned businesses from the inside out. So in this video, I want to break down three main components. I want to talk about why we embody the fear of being seen and how most of us don't even realize it. I want to talk about how greater visibility is your path to creative and financial growth. And then I want to give you sort of a framework of how you can embody more fearless visibility so that you can finally stop shrinking and playing small and start expanding. So the pattern I see about 99 creatives embody, is we desire success, impact, and recognition and all of these things. Yet, we unconsciously sabotage when we start to get momentum going towards that place, In fact, we might just unconsciously avoid it altogether. Now, this is a potpourri of fears, right? We have the fear of judgment, we have the fear of rejection, and the fear of failure, even the fear of success. But really what is undermining all of this is the fear of our own power, our own potential, and the fear of full-bodied self-expression. So we go into these loops of self-sabotage, right? You desire success, you want to be truly seen, but because you also fear being seen, you sort of procrastinate. You don't give your gifts to the world, maybe you play small, maybe you don't get the results that you want, so it reinforces your idea that you're not good enough, and then you say maybe success isn't for me, even though you still crave it, right? So playing small feels safer. I get it. I know what it's like. Playing small means I can control. I have my safe little reality and everything's all spick and span and nothing's changing. But it might actually be draining your creative life force. Because when we are telling ourselves to put a limit on our expression and what we have capacity for creatively, we are telling ourselves that it's not okay to fully express, which you're damn right that goes into our system and writes a code that says, well, if it's not okay to fully express, why would we even give our gifts? Why would we express anyways? Why would I even try if you're saying, the second I start trying, you say no, right? Love the analogy that this man Geraint Jones uses in his book. I don't even remember his book. Geraint Jones. He talks about what would you say to your inner child if your inner child was embodied and just tugging at your knee, at your pants, like, hey, come on, I got an idea. Come on, mom, dad, I got an idea. Do you want to hear? And you're just like, no. That's really what we're doing when we're saying that we don't feel safe to fully express. That little kid inside of us wants to give this idea to the world, but the conscious adult says it's not safe, you can't do that, what if they judge us, and so we squash it. So at some point, that little kid's gonna be like, why even try anyways? So that's what we're trying to rework, That's the price of staying small is costing you connection to your true creative life force, right? So I want you guys to be able to step up to be seen more. Doesn't mean you have to do it in an egoic way. In fact, I'd prefer that you do it unconditionally. You just step up boldly and have your heart open. But I want y'all to be safe and comfortable to step boldly towards your desires, embody your full expression, and not be attached to what the world thinks, right? So you don't need to try to be more authentically. You don't need to try to prove yourself. You just need to let the experience of your full creative expression move through you. Because it's already who you are. It's just how long are you going to keep repressing it? This is how you start to expand into deeper creative waters and more financial growth as well. Because your creativity is really like an exchange of energy. There's an energy of visibility, right? It's like if you're hoarding your gifts, if you're not expressing yourself, nobody can receive them. And if nobody can receive your gifts, how can the energy of that transaction of values come back to you? So you're really only robbing other people and yourself of the gifts that could be received. If you don't express yourself, you're not allowing somebody else to be impacted by your work, whatever your work is. Now that's a powerful frame, because that's more deeply connected to a wider purpose. Like, wow, how selfish of me to keep my gifts to myself. Now, I think it gets slippery when you start expressing purely for other people. I talk a lot about this line, like, you express for yourself, but you express for yourself in a way that opens to the world, that can be seen and experienced, right? And I know I've talked about this before, I'm a broken record, but people don't buy your work. They buy the energy of you. They buy the energy encoded in your presence, in confidence, in clarity through your creative process, right? So the more that energy has a signature of, I'm open, my heart's open, I might have a fear, but I'm opening through those fears of rejection, failure, and success anyways. That leaves a magnetic imprint, and it can be felt, right? And as much as we're talking about like your felt presence, in the same way that you can only let someone into your heart as deep as you've gone yourself, your audience, your clients, the world around you, the people you're trying to serve, they can only trust you as much as you trust yourself. So a problem with so many creatives is we don't actually trust ourselves. We trust that we are creative, but we start to doubt as we express. We have all these fears come up that we start to believe and identify with as we share our gifts with the world. Oh, nobody's signed up yet, so I'm a failure. Or man, 20 people unsubscribed or unfollowed me when I gave my heart, so fuck, nobody really wants to hear what I have to say. I am not good enough. Man, I am a reject, whatever it is. When we can start to realize that we can trust ourselves, even if the world doesn't respond as beautifully as we would like to imagine in the best case scenario to our full-bodied authentic expression, we need to cultivate that trust that it's safe to express. It's safe to be seen. And the right people will see you and the wrong people will choose to not want to see you anymore. That's just how it goes, and it's a great filter. The sooner you can start to get radically authentic with your expression, the sooner you filter the people that are designed to be in your life and who no longer are serving your expansion in this moment. Not to say they can't come back around, but you're only really doing yourself and the world a favor because you're just clear. You're clear. You're not being inauthentic, right? So inside of that, I want to talk about this path to fearless visibility is kind of the phrase I'm playing with. Tell me what you think about that. I know it's kind of corny, but it seems like people on YouTube and shit respond to corny stuff. So the first practice is to feel the fear and expand anyways. The goal in my eyes is to never eradicate fear. Is to never like kick it out of your house, like fuck you and I don't ever want to see you again. Rather, it's to increase your nervous system capacity to hold the fear and hold, in this case, the visibility of being seen to hold that and to take a step anyways, to practice regulating when you start to become activated and moving boldly and confidently anyways. Acknowledging the fear, looking at it, loving it, and stepping towards it, you know. There's a great scene in this short little film on YouTube. I think it's called like Lessons of Jeju by Patagonia. Or maybe Fish People, actually. I think it's a Patagonia film, but it's about this woman, Kimmy Warner. And she is a freediver. And she tells this story of how she was diving and she caught a massive tuna or something. And as she was swimming towards the tuna, a tiger shark was swimming towards the tuna as well. And she had this moment where she was like, had to choose between, oh fuck, there's a shark, and you know what? That's my fucking fish. And she's like, what she decided to do was she swam as fast as she can towards the shark, like head on to the fish, grabbed the fish and kept swimming towards the shark and was like, this is mine. And the shark bolted off, you know? And I think that was a beautiful analogy of like, acknowledge your fear, but step towards it boldly, you know? And there's something that it has to teach you, right? So when we do that, we also meet our edge. And this is the second step of what I want you to practice, is to share from that edge. You know, let's say this is your sort of domain of creative expression. We have something at the core, right? That's so easy and safe for us to express. What's, no pun intended, edgy for us to express are where we're at with those edges, because we're just exploring them and discovering what feels good and where our current capacity of holding fear is. So I encourage all creatives to find that edge and share from it, which this can mean show up before you feel fully ready. Let yourself be in the imperfect, raw, and real expression. Now, I'm not saying share from your edge in the sense of, I just learned this today, now I'm a teacher of it. Like, that's not quite embodied, right? But to be honest about, fuck, it feels showing up in this way is a little edgy, like doing a weekly workshop or, you know, renting a commercial space in downtown. Fuck, that's super edgy. Start to create and share from that place, you know? And so I think inside of that, when we embody a realness and an authenticity at our edge, we make such an important shift, which everyone needs to go through, but I think people have such a hard time accepting and admitting because of our culture, but also it's just edgy and kind of scary, right? It's like acknowledging, how do I go from how do I impress people to how do I serve? How do I serve fully? Because let's be honest, we all have a creative ego. Like, there's no getting rid of it, right? That ego is gonna want recognition and to be seen and validated. And again, the same with the fears. The goal is not to eradicate the ego. The goal is to hold the ego and to honor it and to show up with more of our heart open unconditionally through the desires of the ego. If the ego wants to be seen and recognized, it's actually just wanting to express out into the world. So instead of framing it for my ego, how do I frame it for my heart? I don't need to impress people, I just need to serve fully, which paradoxically, that's gonna probably impress people. So for your ego, there's a win-win situation that can happen, right? You know? So the last practice that's kind of along that same line is to stop asking for permission and to just own your authentic desire and to own your own space and take it up, baby. Take up some space. No one's really gonna come to validate you, you know? No one's gonna give you a pat on the back at every step of the way on your journey to success. Like, that's just not realistic. Like, you'll have support systems, but if you're waiting for approval at every step, you're never gonna get where you wanna go. And in fact, you're never gonna be present. So you're not actually gonna get anywhere because you're only ever here. And if you're not here, I don't know what to tell you, right? So you have to decide now that your expression is truly matters. And that your own self-validation is the only validation that is going to propel you forward. Yes, it's beautiful to have a dear friend tell you like, I think you're doing amazing work. Yes, it's amazing to have the most beautiful feminine goddess say, I support your mission unconditionally. Absolutely, those things are great. However, if we don't source those in ourselves, we're kind of fucked. Because we're gonna have to keep learning the lesson that only you can source it for yourself and give anyways, right? So the moment that you truly stop waiting and just start embodying your creative presence, your entire creative business shifts. The moment that you stop waiting for something out there to change how you feel now, and you just give now anyways, that's when everything starts to expand. And it's muddy, it's awkward, you're gonna trip and fall, but expansion is a sign that you are saying, I know where my edge is, I own my fears, I own my messiness, and I'm gonna show up and give anyways. And if that's not fucking magnetic, I don't know what is. So I hope that this was really helpful for y'all. It's something that's near and dear to my heart, the fear of being seen and how small I've been playing so much of my life. So if this inspired you and you want more, I got plenty of juicy experiments and practices in the Embodied Creator Toolkit that you can sign up for in the link in the description below. And then free resources are my newsletter. And of course this YouTube channel, so please subscribe. I appreciate you so much. But I will see you in the next one. Ciao.